truth time right here.
No one back there has time.
Because the Rams welcome back Alex Smith like this.
Donald gets there.
What's your party going to look like? The question of the day for the game of the week. Steelers defense or Ravens offense? Who has the edge? We've got the answer. Plus, the question of the season for the Atlanta Falcons is find a way to win or find a way to lose. How will they answer on Thursday? And what's Kurt Warner looking for on Sunday? This is your NFL headquarters. This is NFL Total Access. Starts tomorrow with a few players in new uniforms. This is NFL Total Access. I'm MJ Acosta-Ruiz. Our Hump Day crew includes the Willie McGinnis in studio with us, James Jones, Kurt Warner, and D'Angelo Hall. We start, though, with the latest on the newest addition to the Buccaneers. It's official. AB joins TB12 in Tampa Bay, a move Tom Brady may have seen coming for a while. When asked if he spent any time in the offseason working out with Antonio Brown, Brady artfully dodged the question, but did have some thoughtful responses about what he can provide to his newest teammate.
I had so many guys that I looked up to when I was a player, and when you start in the NFL, I started on a team with a lot of great veteran leaders and guys that really took me under their wing. Willie McGinnis, Teddy Bruschi, Troy Brown, Drew Bledsoe, just exceptional players, but great guys. And then over the years, you know, when you transition from a younger player to an older player, you really want to see guys succeed and you want to see guys do well. And it's always about maximizing your potential. And I had a lot of people support me over the years, realizing that I was far from where I needed to be. And they would guide me to and provide me with the help that I needed as a player to reach my potential.
All right, we go out to Tampa, where we find Sarah Walsh joining us on Total Access Live for the first time this season. James Jones and Willie McGinnis are here with us as well. Yep. Willie, I'm going to start with you here because we just heard Tom Brady drop your name there when he was asked about Antonio Brown joining the team. Can you sort of unpack that? What did he mean by that?
Well, his ability is definitely undeniable. We know what he can do on the field. He was a top 5 receiver in every category from 2013 to 2017. But it's the other things outside of football that Tommy was alluding to when he mentioned Drew Bledsoe, Bruschi, myself. One thing we all had in common is we put team over individualism. It was about holding each other accountable. It was about being a link in the chain, in the wheel, doing the things that you're supposed to do for your teammates. It's about staying out of trouble. There's a lot of things that goes on in those locker rooms. There's a lot of things that went on in our locker room. It was about everybody being on the same page, everybody coming in together, and nobody putting one person over the other. So now he's coming into a crowded receiver room, right, with some very talented players. What happens if you don't catch a certain amount of balls? What happens if you're not getting in the end zone enough? How is your behavior going to be? How are you going to take that? Is the W better than any statistic you can talk about? That's the things that Tom is talking about. And we had more guys that felt that way than we had guys that felt the other way. So now that he's coming into the Bucs locker room, I think it's important. I think they want to see, is that going to be the Antonio Brown's mindset? And he's going to be able to deal with that.
That's one of the biggest questions there, but I think the key there in mentorship and the trust between them, that's going to be the key part. And I know you had some questions for Sarah, too, as we get into this chat. Go ahead, Willie.
Sarah, I'm sorry. So everybody's talking and mentioning everything about the on-the-field Antonio Brown. And like I said, I know his ability is undeniable and what he can do and what he can add to a football team. But what are the Bucs as an organization saying, and what are some of their concerns? Because when you talk about Antonio Brown and, you know, recording coaches, recording players, showing fines and all the different things that went on inside the building, were there any concerns or did they have any issues with that?
Bruce Arians, Willie, is saying there's not. He doesn't have any concerns. He was asked today how he thinks Antonio Brown will handle, like, the COVID protocol, and he said no. He's very understanding that this is the deal. You go to practice, you go home, you come back to practice. Arians said today that he looked fantastic, that he was in team meetings today because he can't be out on the practice field yet because of that suspension, but that he looks like he's in really great shape and that he'll be ready to go next week. Now, this Buccaneers team desperately needs him because they are banged up with injuries. They've been dealing with that all season long. Chris Godwin now had to have surgery on a broken finger that Bruce said he was surprised by because he left the stadium Sunday and he thought he looked okay. He also said, and I thought this was interesting, there were reports that Godwin would be back for that big divisional showdown week 9 against the Saints. But Arian said, look, to think he's going to be back and just missed one game, he said that is very optimistic. So this is a team that really needs Antonio Brown to come in and help them. And so far, this team has been the kind of team that doesn't care about stats. Mike Evans was only targeted twice last week, and you don't hear these guys complain about that stuff ever. Certainly the talent level has been raised once again in that receiver room. And James, what does a guy like Antonio do for the talent level on this team that Tom Brady now has to work with?
Well, first off, the Bucs are trying to win the Super Bowl and get to the Super Bowl. That's what this tells me, bringing Antonio Brown in the building. And listen, this is a talented wide receiver group. But when Antonio Brown walks in this building, he is the best one in that room, period. Pro Bowl receivers in there. When Antonio Brown walks into this room, he is the best one, period. And when you take this field with Antonio Brown on the field, you are either going to show him some more attention and double team him, and then Mike Evans is going to beat you, Chris Godwin is going to beat you, Rob Gronkowski is going to beat you, and if you want to show those other guys some attention, one-on-one coverage with Antonio Brown is a nightmare for any DB in the National Football League. We know Antonio Brown is a worker. He's going to come in shape, ready to go. So this tells Tom Brady he's living. I'm telling you, he just woke up from a dream. Antonio Brown is on this squad, and they are about to go to work. One-on-one coverage on these guys, they will not be stopped. And if you want to play coverage, they are going to run the ball down your throat. They are trying to win a Super Bowl.
Listen, and the work starts once Antonio can actually get on the practice field with his new squad. All right, James, Willie, and Sarah, our eyes and ears in Tampa. Thank you all. More teams making moves. It's time for Rap Sheet.
Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback, University of Alabama. Hearing my name get called on draft day, that's going to mean everything to me and my family.
The Miami Dolphins select Tua Tagovailoa.
I would say the strengths to my style of play is my pocket presence.
Tagovailoa going to go to the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! Guess who? How many times have you seen this?
And also with the accuracy and timing.
Watch this! All the way to the house! One of the best ever for the Crimson Tide.
And I'll be offense in Miami. It's a blessing. That's all I could say.
The countdown to Tua